thine audience. Repent for thine sins. Repent for thine audience. Repent, 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 repent. Repent for thine audience. Repent for thine sins. Repent for thine audience. Because we'll be at the end. Repent for thine audience. Repent for thine sins. Repent for thine audience. Repent, 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 repent. Repent for thine audience. Repent for thine sins. Repent for thine audience. Because we don't.
Shalom, shalom. Hello. Salam alaikum. Namaste. We are the representatives of Israelite Organization Unity. And we are the men that's been basically going from New York to LA and also to Durban, dealing with the issues of reparations. Essentially, we first introduced our reparations proposal, which is here in the year 2000 at the City Council in Chicago. And one of the things that we did in order to put forth our Pacific reparations proposal was centered around the issues of reparations and repatriations. And so what we're going to do today, we're going to take this time and just try to essentially break down what we're doing and essentially how we're trying to do this and why we're doing it. The reparations issue right now today has been the issue, I guess you could say, it's been sort of low-key based upon what's happened in September 11th. But essentially, we feel that because of September 11th, it's because it's due to us, or we are going to step up the reparations struggle. The reason why is because for hundreds of years, African Americans have fought in every major war that the United States government has had. Essentially, my relatives, myself, I've traced my genealogy back to 1186. And what happened is that I found out that some of my relatives had actually fought in the Revolutionary War, and some of my relatives had fought in the Civil War, the colored troops, and my great-grandfather fought in the First World War, and my grandfather fought in the Second World War. And so essentially what's going on here, and also my father was in the service. So the fact is that we've had our people, African Americans, also people of Native American descent, have essentially been fighting in every war that America's had. And up until this time, some of our Native American brothers have received reparations, but black Indians and also African descent have not received reparations up until this point. At this point, America is in a conflict with Afghanistan, and there has been a food drop. They have been dropping food, airlifting food, and dropping food in Afghanistan to the extent of millions of dollars. And prior to that, they had sent millions of dollars of aid to Afghanistan. And the money that they have been sending to now our enemies was more than enough. It was more than enough money that we had essentially asked for in dealing with the reparations issue. I want to first introduce you to also our guest here that we have here today. His name is Amariel. Mr. Amariel.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me on the show.
Okay. And Amariel, we have him here today, and he's essentially on this specific program because he was in Durban, South Africa. And he was one of the individuals that was protesting outside of Durban along with myself and a number of different other people there. And Amariel essentially has been dealing with the reparations struggle. Matter of fact, I believe that there was a conference, the Operation Push, that Dorothy Tillman, out of all, when they indicated, when Dorothy Tillman, when various different black leaders were praising Dorothy Tillman on getting the reparations proposed, the bill passed, Dorothy Tillman had also pointed you out, asked you to stand up, and it indicated that the Israelite Organization of Unity, and she referred to you, was one of the primary people that helped, that was helping them.
Well, you know, in 2000, our organization had like 200 supporters that when they was passing the city council referendum on reparations, that it should be studied and to push HR 40, that we was out there protesting. And we stood up, and our organization was one of the ones that was in the forefront for asking for reparations at that council. If you go back to the history of Chicago, you know that Chicago was one of the heaviest cities when you're talking about racism and segregation and a lot of pressures on a lot of black politicians. But this day in 2000 was a day that it was passed for the city council to push it to the DC to get it voted on.
Well, I'm looking at your reparations proposal here, the one that was actually put forth for the city council meeting here. And this is one specific issue. It was one specific thing I do want you to go off in here. You said that Thomas Jefferson spoke on the reparations issue, and it's interesting because we had also brought this point up that George Bush, when he came into office, he indicated that one of the presidents that, really the only president that had essentially came into office just like he did, was Thomas Jefferson. And it's interesting how Thomas Jefferson was one of our presidents that actually put forth for reparations, you know, some type of idea that when African Americans did want a form of reparations, that he had something essentially set up for them. So your proposal, go off in there. Could you go into that, please?
Yeah, it's real deep because Thomas Jefferson won like the same way that Bush won.
That's interesting.
And when you talk about Thomas Jefferson, a lot of people look at him as just a visionary, a free thinker, a liberal. But Thomas Jefferson, he said he had a solution, and that this solution should be considered anytime they talking about let black people get money, or African Americans, or any of the slaves. When it's time for them and they want to go, that this bill should be pushed forward. I want to read it if it's okay with you.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. I think you know, I think it should be read to a certain extent. You know, maybe not all of it, but you know, because his full referendum is about 3 or 4 pages long. But this short part here, I think it sums up the point. So please do.
Okay. It says Jefferson's solution to emancipate all slaves born after passing the act. Query 14. The bill reported by the revisers does not itself contain the proposition, but an amendment containing it was prepared to be offered to the legislature whenever the bill should be taken up, and further directing that they should continue with their parents to a certain age, then be brought up at the public expense to tillage, arts, sciences according to their geniuses, till the females should be 18 and the males 21 years of age, when they should be colonized to such places as the circumstances of the time should render most proper, sending them out with arms, implements of household and of handicrafts, arts, seeds, pairs of useful domestic animals, and etc., to declare them a free and independent people, and extend to them our alliance and protection till they should have acquired strength, and to send vessels at the same time to other parts of the world for an equal number of white inhabitants, to induce whom to migrate hither. Proper encouragements were to be proposed. It will probably be asked, why not retain and incorporate the blacks into the state, and thus save the expense of supplying by importation of white settlers? The vacancies they will leave deep-rooted prejudice entertained by whites, 10,000 recollections by the